currency. Like a couple bitcoins. Money, hold up on my Nakamoto.
Hello. Welcome to the Blockchain Dynamics Show.
How's everybody doing out there tonight?
I'm doing great. How about you? My name is Brandon Doge, of course.
Oh, hey, Brandon. I'm Woody.
Oh, hey, Woody.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking.
Sweet. It's Saturday again.
And that means that it's episode number 39.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Saturday, November 26th. Did you say that?
Yep. 2016 is the year. And we're on Error by Trail Radio, so that's cool too. Welcome to the show, everybody. It is episode 39, like Woody said. And that means we have episode 40 coming up next, which is cool.
Yep, because every 10 episodes we do a recap of the last 10 weeks. And thus far, we've been lucky enough to have Not So Fast come and do that with us. And he'll be here next week, too.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. We get to look back at like all the coins that have come out in the last 10 weeks. We'll do a little roundup. It's always a good time.
As usual, the show is brought to you this week by Cryptopia. That's www.cryptopia.co.nz. And Cryptopia is an altcoin platform with an exchange, a marketplace, mining pool, forums.
In the forums, we have, it's kind of like our home base. We have a thread there in the altcoin section in the Cryptopia forums. And we always post the show there every week. And we really like it when people stop by there and leave us comments. And if you do that, we will reward you with dots, which are like Cryptopia's native cryptocurrency.
That's right.
Come on over to the thread, get some dots. Also, don't forget to check out their new like mineshaft thing. Cryptopia has a cool new feature that will let you mine any of their proof of work mineable coins, basically.
Yeah.
It's a really dope way to mine coins, and essentially it's a single port. Really slick. Check it out.
And that basically is what's going on here. So without further ado, our first segment this evening is going to be an interview with two members of the Golem project, Eddy Azar and Alex Leverington.
Yeah, this is really cool. You might have heard about the project, Golem project. It sold out this IPO in like 30 minutes. It created a huge buzz. So we were really stoked that they were willing to sit down and chat with us. The website is golem.network, and it's an upcoming Ethereum platform, essentially.
So here we go. Here we are with Eddy Azar and Alex Leverington of the Golem project.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hello.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Thanks a lot for joining us. I guess we'll start by having you both introduce yourselves and your positions with Golem, so people know.
Alex, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Alex Leverington, and I originally worked for the Ethereum Foundation for a couple of years, and started working on Ethereum prior to that, and joined Golem earlier this year, shortly around the time of the DAO, when they had decided that they wanted to build Golem, that they wanted to fund it and get it built. So I've been advising them since that time, and then a couple months ago we kind of finalized everything, and I work with them on designing and architecting the peer-to-peer network and how everything's going to interact in that way. And
cool.
Yeah.
Nice. And how about you, Eddy?
So my background doesn't sound nearly as cool as Alex's. I'm the latest hire of the Golem team, and I kind of contacted them out of the blue saying, hey, I'm in love with you guys, what you guys are doing, and I'm a growth hacker. I've worked on a few projects, but I want to get really serious and join a team that's going to change the world, so I can join you guys. But in the Bitcoin world, besides doing a few small projects and starting up the Bitcoin Bali scene, I'm pretty new. Although I did join the kind of realm of it in 2013, right before Bitcoin hit 1,000.
Nice. So, as far as the team overall, about how many people are working on the project right now?
I'm actually not exactly sure. Alex, do you know?
That's hard to say now because now there are some people volunteering. So I think that there's 8 to 12 people who are working directly on the project or working really close with it in some capacity, but maybe upwards of 15 people who are, we're talking to, and maybe we'll be working with them in the near future.
All right, very cool. Did Golem start out as a DAO proposal then?
Kind of. We were going to make a DAO proposal, but the idea had started before that, and then the DAO came about, and we're like, okay, well, let's go ahead and do this there instead of doing our own crowdfunding thing. In fact, the idea of doing our own crowdfunding thing hadn't even come up. I think it's just that the DAO came up when we were talking about it, and the next steps were obvious. They seemed obvious at the time.
Sure. Yeah. And as far as the Golem project's goals are concerned, could you tell our listeners a little bit about just generally what the software is trying to accomplish?
Can I tell this one?
Definitely.
Cool. All right. So essentially what Golem's building is a network of computers all around the globe. It could be interplanetary, but we're not interplanetary yet. That creates essentially one gigantic, more powerful than anything else in the world, supercomputer. People would be selling their computing power kind of sharing economy style, and it would be used to do pretty much anything that you might want, very powerful computing to do, which includes, scientific research from DNA research, finding biofuels, searching for alien life, stuff like graphics rendering for via virtual reality or movies that are, animated Shrek stuff, or video games, artificial intelligence, machine learning. It's kind of a huge amount of uses because it spans what it is people could use, heavy computing power for. And
so I guess, or go ahead.
Yeah, and the biggest kind of difference than anything else in the world right now is it's decentralized, meaning that it creates a perfect competition market, which means that it'll be cheaper than anything else in the world, and for the same reason more powerful than anything else in the world.
That sounds very cool. So I guess my question would be how, let's say I'm somebody who wants to purchase computing power, how exactly am I going to interface with the providers?
Are you talking in terms of how will the UX work?
Yeah, I guess let's say that I wanted to rent some CPU power to mine Zcash or something. Kind of what would that look like for me as a user?
So so what we are building with Golem is a network where there are three major participants. So there's the provider, the requester, and then also the software developer. So in this case, I guess right now the way Golem works is it only does the rendering for the proof of concept. But with the roadmap and with the success of the crowdfunding, we have this much grander vision, and that's that a software developer can write software in a way where the software can transparently interact and dispatch out work to the Golem network. So in this case, the user may know that there's some cost to their work, but it's possible that the software kind of hides all that. So the software would dispatch out the work for mining to Golem, and then and then hopefully the miner on the other side, actually mines to your address and not someone else's address, which is weird, right? With mining, that's actually one hard thing about mining, is you have to have some special scripts and things like that. Otherwise, you have no guarantee that the miner is actually going to work on mining for you, and not mining for themselves, right? And then and the thing is if if they're not mining for you, it takes you a long time, to figure it out. And the less you pay, the more time it takes you to figure out that they're cheating. So that is actually a really tricky use case. But
interesting.
Yeah, but to the user would be more or less depending on their software, and there would be some minimal interface. I hope it's minimal, where the user sees what's going on with Golem, as far as the transactions that occur and their interactions between the Golem network and the Golem application developer.
Cool. So how about when it comes to the first use case that you guys are going for with the graphics rendering, how does the user access that? Is that just from a command line type interface then?
Right now we have a graphical user interface. And I think that the roadmap has a picture of this preview. And in this case, they submit the work, and then the software splits it up into subtasks and then distributes those subtasks out to the peers. And then as those peers complete the subtasks, it shows the progress until it's 100%, and then it's done.
Oh, cool. That's really simple.
Yeah.
So then how kind of does using an Ethereum smart contract help you guys, I guess, reach these goals of building this network?
What that helps us with is tying together the participants in a secure way that would otherwise require a lot of overhead and back and forth transactions. And in addition to this, so we have the application registry, which kind of allows the resource providers to choose what software they're okay running, and the requesters and the software developers to be able to know that there's availability for computing the software. And we can tie all that together by publishing that information on Ethereum, instead of having to replicate all of that information. Like in other words, we would have to reinvent Ethereum, and there's not necessarily a desire to do that right now. But the cool part, though, because that's just gluing everything together. The cool part is what we can do is the software developer is sort of creates the interface between the requester and the provider. So the software developer can go in there and say, okay, well, 1% or 5% of every transaction goes to me. And as long as the software developer has the best software, he may be able to do that. In fact, the software developer could even say, well, 1% or 5%, the software developer could say, okay, 5% of all the computation fees goes to this other smart contract. And this other smart contract pays out half of that 5% to all of the members in that smart contract, and the other 2.5% goes to the software developer.
Nice. Yeah, you could get into some really interesting relationships like that.
Yeah. Or you can get into other things where, maybe there's some kind of software licensing mechanism, or or things like that, where the software provider is licensing software from some other party, and like normally, a problem in the software licensing business. There's two problems. One, people pirate the software, obviously.
Right.
I don't know how much you can do about that, but two, when people do pay for the software and they have it on the machine, the software provider kind of has to, keep track of this, and it gets installed and activated or whatever, and all that jazz. In this case, the software developer could pay this license, and this other software developer knows that, okay, this is being deployed on Golem, and it knows that's running inside a sandbox, and chances are that the node that it runs on is just going to delete it when it's done, or that it's not going to abuse the deployment of that software, on the Golem provider node. So there's some interesting things as far as getting software developers paid and making software licensing a little less evil and a little more about the software actually providing value.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that would really open up a huge amount of opportunity for freelance developers to kind of just directly connect with the people who need their services. So that's kind of a cool thought. As far as the company itself, Golem Factory GmbH, kind of what role do you see the company playing as the project develops? Obviously, like with kind of Zcash as another example, they have the founder's fee, and that kind of goes to their company to develop Zcash. Is the primary purpose of the company to just continue the development of the Golem core services?
Yes. The primary...
Sweet.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's going to kind of work like Ethereum and the Ethereum Foundation. Golem from this point onwards makes no money from actually developing the Golem network, just like the Ethereum Foundation. Instead, once we've launched the final version of Golem, we're going to be making money off of essentially launching apps onto the Golem app registry. So, yeah, Golem Factory is going to keep just building Golem, and future profits will come from essentially our knowledge of Golem being the best because we're the ones building it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And there may be some difference in that we may try to develop communities that work on certain components rather than keeping everything in-house and facilitating. But definitely for a while, for years, the core focus of that entity and the funding is on the development of what's in the roadmap.
Perfect. And can you tell us a little bit about the alpha that's currently available on GitHub?
Yeah.
Just what people can expect if they were to download that, basically.
Sure. So that's a proof of concept, and it's in Python. And you can use it. I think you can use it to render some interesting scenes. And people have had some fun with that. There is a test network, or that is a test network, and we have a testers channel on Slack. If you want to ask for invitation to that and play with the software, we do. So that version will be deprecated. The software will change significantly from that. But at the same time, there's aspects of that software where feedback is still important to us, because the rendering module is something that will be brought into the Brass release of Golem, and we're learning from some of the issues people have reported with peer-to-peer networking and the sandboxing. So whereas the software may not be the same with Brass, all the little components and then testing and feedback on those is helpful. So feel free to run through the instructions and get it running. And we're not very active on the testers channel for that right now, for the next couple of weeks. But if somebody has trouble, getting it going, then feel free to ask a question on Slack.
Okay, yeah, and so in addition to the alpha, and then you mentioned Slack, is that pretty much how people can contact and get involved with the project at this point, or is there any other points of contact?
The subreddit.
Yeah.
Got the subreddit going?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What's the address there?
Golem Project. So reddit.com/r/Golem Project.
Nice.
Cool. And the golem.network is the main website.
Actually,
for everybody.
yeah, golem.network.
Okay.
Nice. So what do you guys think we're going to see first? Bitcoin at 1,000 or Bitcoin at 500?
Ooh.
I know. Tough questions.
It depends on well, you said, what are you going to see first? I'm hoping that we're first. That's a tricky question, right? Because that implies that after it goes to 500, it'll hit 1,000. After it hits 1,000, it'll go to 500.
That's true. I guess well, it could be one or the other, I guess, but yeah.
And in that case, I think it's going to hit 1,000 first.
All right. We've all been just kind of watching the price go crazy.
I have no idea. I couldn't weigh in on this one. Like, it's too hard to predict. Cool.
Well, and congratulations on your crowd sale, of course. Everybody saw that went really well.
Yeah, that was amazing. Like, we were not expecting it to be that successful at all. Like, we were literally talking about how it might not work before we launched it, and yeah, that was mind-blowing.
Yeah, I guess it just kind of shows how much interest there really is out there in some of these Ethereum platforms, I think.
Yeah, it was absolutely shocking. Just watching it, it ran for exactly 30 minutes. So the, conspiracy theorist in the back of my head is like, I wonder if somebody, knew that they were going to buy a lot, and maybe they were really nice, and they spread out all the transactions over 30 minutes so that other people can participate. If that happens, I hope that continues to happen with other crowdfunding. But we did get, I think it was like 4,000 transactions or something.
Wow.
I hope it was 4,000. I should really look that up before quoting it, but
it's all good.
Yeah, but it's good to know that it seems to appear that hundreds of people participated, and it took down my Ether wallet. Like, it took down their transaction submission servers.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so we learned a lot from that, and the my Ether wallet folks learned a lot from it, and the community really responded well as well. So. It was one of the best things that I've experienced in crypto so far.
Awesome. And is there anything else that either of you would like to let the listeners know?
I guess one thing that's worth mentioning is that if you're interested in Golem, you should really check out the alpha, because right now that's where we're putting pretty much all of our work. And if you want to be the first ones to know, when we're going to go live and how to use it and all that stuff, using the alpha will make sure that that you'll be prepared.
Nice. And of course, the website is golem.network, where people can go and check out the alpha. Huge thanks to you guys, Eddy and Alex. We really appreciate you guys coming on and answering our questions.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Our pleasure.
And thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, great luck with the project.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Alrighty, that was Eddy and Alex from the Golem project.
Yeah, I really appreciated that they came on and talked to us about that. It was very more interesting than I expected it to be.
Yeah, I would definitely say the same thing. Huge thanks to those guys. So next up, we're going to jump into the news. Kind of a slow news week this week with it's a holiday here in the US of A, of course, but...
Yeah, overall a really slow week, but at the top of our list is that sweet Vcash Crash.
Oh my god, it was incredible. That was like... It reminded me of the dumps of yore, man. It's like, on Poloniex these days, you don't see like just a 10x drop like that in seconds. It was awesome. That was great.
Yep. So Probably some people were in lucky enough positions to actually short that drop, but I think a lot of people were just left out in the cold on that one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I always have had a few Vcash, and my trading bot trades it, and it kind of like bugged out, which is kind of annoying because it is almost designed to take advantage of stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it ended up like just with a few hundred extra Vcash, but it didn't lose any Bitcoin, so whatever. I'm good about it.
Sure.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. I'm not sure. I mean, there's a huge drama apparently around John Connor like deleting the roadmap and stuff. I'm not really sure what was the story there.
Well, it basically started with some really cryptic messages on the Slack channel about the price, and then next thing you knew, he had posted on the Vcash forum that he had crossed off several items from the year-long roadmap due to lack of funds, which felt really out of the blue, to be honest. And then about simultaneously with that, his Twitter account was deactivated due to too many login attempts, so the story goes, and that created a situation of panic. About simultaneously with that, somebody moved about a bunch of coins that were really old, and then it dumped. And that's about it.
Okay, that's interesting. Like, it's almost out of character even for John Connor, the vanilla coin developer, because he's always kind of been a confrontational person. Obviously, everybody knows that, and it's just funny to see it, I guess, go to this level.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, nobody that was holding the coin would necessarily want to see it dumped to 2,000 Satoshi, so in his defense, that happened, I guess.
Yeah, it's funny, I guess. We both mined vanilla coin, I guess, since it was just first launched, so we kind of got in. I mean, I didn't really pay anything for my vanilla coin, I guess, is the point. So it's still funny for me, I guess, to see it dump to 2,000. Because I remember when it first listed on C-Cex, that's what it traded for.
Right.
And so now it was back to that, and then now it's up at 14,000 or 12,000 or whatever. That still feels like a really high price to me. But at the same time, the coin has been at a much higher price for a long time. And so I'm sure there's a lot of people who got in later on because the fundamentals of the coin were so great.
Well, yeah, and not until a few days ago, with the price being so much higher, means that a lot of people were trading at that rate, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep, totally. And it looked like it was about to pop off. Obviously, maybe that's part of the charade or whatever. Nobody really knows what's happening on stuff like this. That's the funnest part, I guess. Like, yeah, it's just insane to see a major Poloniex market collapse, 90% in a couple of hours, and then it rebounded to become like a 50% loss or whatever, but it reminds me of the old days in a lot of ways. It's just a lot of fun to see it happen.
Right. It leaves you with a lot more questions than answers.
Yeah, definitely.
Which, as you said, can be part of the fun for sure, but also very disturbing when certain people probably have invested amounts that they don't expect to reduce by 50% in a day. But then you look at like the long-term situation of coins like this, and if something like the deletion of an account is an accident or certain things are misunderstood in posts or whatever, I don't know. I don't see it much different than a coin like Bitcoin, I guess, funny enough.
Yeah, you see similar stuff in all these crypto markets, I guess. It's really on full display here with this XVC crash, I guess.
Yep.
But yeah, really funny.
And on to the next one. We're going to talk about the latest Ethereum fork.
Ethereum has forked again. This just seems like another technical fork, and I'm not really too bothered by these, I guess. It's annoying. It's a lot of people who are ETH Classic boosters and just people who are frustrated with the development direction of Ethereum are pointing to these forks as like, an indicator of there being problems with the chain. But I guess for me it boils down to Like, what is the expected number of forks? What's the number of forks that you might expect something that's kind of highly innovative to have, especially something that's got such a huge target on its back like Ethereum does?
Yeah, I think that's a really good observation. I mean, part of what I've always felt is that the fact that they're willing to deal with these issues sets it apart from a lot of other coins that would be in the same situation.
Yeah, they committed to taking the bold approach to potential threats when they did the fork for the DAO, and I guess now they're kind of committed to it, and I can respect them going just full steam ahead in that direction. But at the same time, that's a lot of headaches for exchanges, that's a lot of headaches for pools and miners, and you kind of just you lose people every time that you have a fork. And it'll just be a question of, Ethereum has been sliding really hard in price. Everybody knows that. But it's just going to be a question of how much, I guess how much ground can they give up before some of these potentially really cool applications actually start running and potentially bringing new people back into the system.
Right. That really remains to be seen, I suppose.
It kind of feels like the whole scene is waiting for the next wave of people to start taking notice of this new technology, and if it's going to come, when it's going to come, that could really change everything. But Ethereum really seems to hang in the balance there in that regard.
Sure. I'm going to be keeping my eye on it. I guess in the back of my mind, still am looking for a place to buy back into Ethereum, because I bought in on that pre-sale.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Well, you're never going to get it that cheap again, probably. If you do, it'll be a ugly market. Can you imagine that? What that week of news would be like?
Yeah, I guess so.
Ethereum's back down to ICO price.
And I'll buy it. I'll buy it definitely at that point.
But yeah, that's I guess that's the latest news regarding Ethereum. They're forking once again.
And up next, we're going to take a look at some market news.
Yeah, we have been continuing to watch just, I guess, kind of the overall health of the altcoin markets as Bitcoin continues to bounce off its kind of all-time high ranges. Maybe not all-time high, but like 2-year high range, I guess. This week, Bitcoin's down 2.2% from the last show at $733. And kind of a sideways market this week, I guess.
Yeah, that's not a huge significant number as far as coins go.
At least what we're used to. And
Bitcoin being the ultimate altcoin, in our opinion.
Yeah, exactly. The ultimate shitcoin.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love Bitcoin, and it kind of, we don't really focus on it too much, but it kind of does highlight the backdrop of what's going on in altcoins. We all know that altcoins are heavily affected by what the Bitcoin markets are doing. And so kind of with Bitcoin being down a couple percent, but still hovering around these highs, that'll take us to what is going on in altcoins. We have ETH down this week once again, about 3.7%.
So would have been better off in Bitcoin than ETH this week. Yeah,
definitely. ETH has been on a really long slide, and that's the story for a lot of alts. We've heard it time and again for some alts that people make fun of a lot, like Vox and other alts that were kind of looking good. A lot of them have just been on really long, steady slides. And that's the case here with ETH as well, down 3.7%. As far as the top 100 altcoins, actually the top 97, we have them down $59 million in total value in USD. That's a 3.1% decline this week. And the total value of the top 97 alts here, $1.846 billion.
Wow. That's with or without ETH?
That's with Ethereum.
Okay.
So what's interesting to see, at the kind of the peak of the crazy Poloniex pumps, we saw that the value of the altcoin markets was kind of starting to approach 20% of what the value of Bitcoin was, at least the market cap. And now we're seeing that with all these latest kind of changes in Bitcoin price and changes in altcoins, it's now closer to 10% of the value of Bitcoin. So really huge contraction in altcoin markets overall this month.
All right. So most coins are down this week in USD and way down in Bitcoin.
That was actually from last week. Most of the coins are actually unchanged in Bitcoin, but they did go down in USD.
Oh, gotcha.
About 60 coins down, USD value 38 up, and in Bitcoin value 51 are down, 46 are up in our little ranking here. So continuing to slide there. Overall, they're down 3.1%, altcoin markets. And if we go, this is kind of the most interesting number, I guess. If you look at the 5-week change since we started tracking these numbers again, we have all of altcoins down about 30% relative to Bitcoin.
Wow. I wonder what Bitcoin's up percentage is in that time period.
It was about 10%.
Really?
Yep. So just overall a huge slide in altcoins, and it seems like it's starting to be independent of what's going on with the Bitcoin price at this point. Like, if Bitcoin goes down, altcoins go down. If Bitcoin goes up, altcoins go down even more. It's kind of what we've been seeing.
All right.
So it just, I kind of feel like the whole fate of the whole market is heavily affected by Ethereum at this point because it's such a huge percentage of the altcoin market share.
Sure.
And so as it declines, we're kind of just bound to see a lot of other coins rise and fall with it. And until something if maybe another coin could rise up to challenge Ethereum, that would be awesome. Zcash might be a contender there. Doesn't look like it yet, but maybe a couple years down the road, then that could maybe change the dynamics of the market. But I guess right now I'm definitely looking at Ethereum and saying, what's going to drive the next turnaround in the market cycle.
Yeah, I wonder what it could be. But I don't think it has to be Ethereum. I think it could be any coin.
I mean, I feel like it couldn't be just any coin. It's got to be something pretty impressive.
I guess, but obviously Dogecoin was just a coin.
Yeah, but I don't think Dogecoin ever drove the markets. Ethereum took the markets to a new height, way beyond what any of those 2014 coins kind of ever did, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, we kind of, back then we would see like Blackcoin has 1,000 Bitcoins volume on MintPal, and we were like, oh my God, this is incredible. And you look at what's happened since, and it's, that would be a small market these days on Poloniex.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. So you're looking for a really big coin.
Yeah,
to compete
definitely.
With Ethereum, yeah.
That's what it would take. If right now Ethereum represents half the value of altcoins, it's kind of hard for the market to break away from that, it seems like.
Right.
But I don't know, I could be wrong. It could be that they're really not as connected as I think they are. Like maybe the rest of the altcoin world can rise and fall independently of Ethereum. And I think that could definitely happen, but it would require Ethereum to give up a lot more ground, I guess, I think.
Just because of the number of Bitcoins that are put into it at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And there's a whole, it's got this whole ecosystem around it. We just talked with the Golem guys. Each of those projects, gets huge Bitcoin trading pairs that have, big volume themselves, and it helps to continue to drive the overall effect of the Ethereum ecosystem on the broader markets.
Very good point. As far as overall gainers and losers go for the week, on the gainer side, we're looking at One Credit up 147, BitBay up 48%, Cloakcoin up 46%, and Zitecoin up 39%.
Really kind of a random list here. One Credit has been on the charts for a while. It pumped, it had dumped, and now it's coming back strong, I guess.
At least for now, right?
Yep, so yeah, props to One Credit, I guess. BitBay up 48%, which is cool. I'm not really too familiar with BitBay, honestly. I don't really know what they're doing, but Cloakcoin's like an old coin. And so is Zitecoin, so surprised to see them going up this week.
Mm-hmm. And on the loser side, we got Vcash at minus 58%.
Oof.
Waves minus 28%. Stratis minus 27%. And Asia Digicoin minus 24%.
Obviously, Vcash, we talked about it earlier. That's the big news there in the losers.
Yeah, pretty amazing to see a coin with so much potential upside take the other direction. And it'll be interesting to see what happens next year.
Yeah, we don't usually see. Usually the biggest winners and the biggest losers are small market cap coins because they're kind of capable of having more volatility. So to see a kind of a bigger market cap coin like Vcash as the biggest loser is a bit of a surprise. Otherwise, just the IPO coins, Waves and Stratis, declining off of their recent pumps. And that'll do it for the markets roundup this week.
We're going to move right into our random coin spotlights.
Love those random coins.
As far as our top 100 market cap coins go, we're going to take a look at Factom today.
We rolled number 14. That's Factom, the number 14 market cap coin.
At $19.2 million cap.
That is a shitload of money. This thing came out in late 2014, and it kind of is weird to me because I don't remember a thing about it launching or the announcement or anything. I don't remember any of it.
Right.
And I was paying quite a bit of attention back then, so maybe it's just like, the crypto world is so big, sometimes things just sneak you by, and maybe this is one of those ones that I glanced at, dismissed it, and never bothered to look back until it was like, oh, here it is on
Poloniex, yeah.
Poloniex, $15 million market cap, whatever.
They claim to have a few different applications, different products they call them.
Yeah, so
one's definitely a database.
A database.
Yeah.
So the thing about this coin, it's very it's really slick. They've got clearly very good marketing people, good web designers, all that kind of stuff that you'd expect. But it's been really hard for me to actually lock down what the point of the coin is. What are they offering?
Right, exactly. They've got these three products, like I said. The one is the real-time auditing, which sounds like a database or something. And then true digital identity, which I couldn't even begin to tell you the benefits of, honestly. And then Hera, which is a blockchain for enterprise needs. So it sort of make it sound like a blockchain for hire.
Yeah, it's blockchain services of some kind.
Yeah.
It's very hard for me to wrap my mind around what the use case is for the blockchain.
Right. It is difficult.
But as far as blockchains go, it's really distinguished itself. It'd be cool if anybody who listens to the show knows kind of what's cool about Factom or how people might actually be able to use it. I'd be interested in hearing about it for sure.
Yeah, drop us a line.
But as far as, I've traded it. I have some Factom. It's been fun to mess around with at least, but I don't really have any allegiance to it. I don't really have any emotional attachment to it, I guess.
As far as the chart looks, it reminds me a little bit of Vcash, except if Vcash didn't have a really sharp knife at the end of it.
It's like Vcash if it didn't drop 90% in one day.
Yeah, at this point.
Let's see, Factom. Yeah, as far as charts go, man, it looks great, especially considering how steeply a lot of coins have been sliding lately. But it is on a small downtrend now, and I guess who knows when it will go the other way.
Yeah, that's always the gamble. That is about it for Factom coin.
Factom.
On the low market cap random coin list, we're going to look at Noble Coin.
Noble Coin. I was happy to see this one pop up. I remember mining this way back when we first just had single graphics card rigs that we were running.
Nice.
And it was this coin was competing with Digibyte and another coin called USDE, and they were all on that coinmarket.io exchange. And I would kind of just cycle between mining them because they all had really solid returns.
Leaf Coin's was one of my favorites on that
Yeah,
one.
Leaf Coin.
Yeah.
LeafCoin is like the first time I got schooled about what happens when coins get on bigger exchanges. Because I really liked LeafCoin too. I liked all those coin market coins, I guess. And I had mined and bought a little bit of LeafCoin. And then I saw that it was going to get listed on Cryptsy, which was obviously the top dog exchange at the time. And I was like, oh my God, LeafCoin, it's going on Cryptsy. Gotta buy. Of course, it was already way up on coin market at the time.
Who would have known?
Yeah, so I bought it thinking that I would be able to just flip it immediately on Cryptsy for a huge profit. Of course, it took like 18 hours for the coins to deposit on Cryptsy because that's kind of how it went down back then. And then you finally got the coins, and obviously it was dumped immediately. It was like... And now I've seen that. You see that time and again where a coin will be trading on Yobit or C-Cex or something. It's trading there for a couple months. All of a sudden the Bittrex listing gets announced, or... Back then, it could have been a MintPal or another like then higher caliber exchange. And then you'd see the price spike huge on the smaller exchange, and then once it hits the bigger exchange, it just dumps immediately. And so it's kind of just a funny trap that exists in these markets.
Yeah, definitely. And but what about as far as Noblecoin goes? It's currently only on Poloniex.
Yeah, incredible.
At the end of its life here.
Yeah, one of those legacy coins.
I don't mean that it's about to end its life, but it doesn't look like it's at the beginning of it.
Yeah, I wasn't able to find if there's still anything going on with the coin as far as community or development-wise. Or maybe it's just carrying its Poloniex momentum. It's really low volume for Poloniex, one of the lowest volumes. But the price and market cap are also... really solid compared to where it's ever been historically.
Oh, you're right.
But that's, it's almost certainly just the Poloniex effect, I guess, of...
Well, and sometimes I've seen that one be a really big Poloniex troll box.
Noble?
Oh, I'm still looking at I was thinking of Factom for a moment then
nice.
again. Sorry, my bad.
No, I think Noble Coin... Well, you see people still talking about Noble
No,
Coin
I don't
too,
see that one as much.
Really? I don't know. I like it. It's a really high supply, 2 billion supply. Very low price.
That would be the moment, though. If I did see the Poloniex troll box talking about Noble, then I guess I'd be pretty sure.
Starting to look. I'm sure there's somebody in there, man. Noble Coin, 11 Satoshi right now. So yeah, historically a good coin, but did not really survive the test of time as well as some of its competitors back in the day, like Digibyte.
What about like Noble versus Diem?
Diem's a little bit of a different coin, I think. Noble's got a little bit more... it had a stronger community behind it, I guess, and kind of was in the background for a long time, Diem, it seems like it kind of just lucked out onto being in Poloniex, but Noble was the kind of coin that you would have expected to have been on Poloniex when it got listed, a couple of years ago or whatever.
Nice.
That'll do it for our random coins this week. Next, we're going to jump into the new posts.
Yep, and starting right off the top with those proof-of-work coins this week, we're looking at iWallet coin.
iWallet coin, first new coin this week. Not very many new coins this week.
No.
Just a lot of IPOs, but we're kind of going to ignore those.
Yeah, we're going to gloss right over them.
But as far as proof-of-work coins this week, we got iWallet coin. It's a 14% pre-mine. It's on Yobit.
Yep.
It's kind of what you'd expect these days. They do have an interesting ASCII radiation symbol here. I don't know how they got that to work.
I like how it's yellow. It's a yellow on yours?
Yeah, definitely, yep.
Wonderful.
But otherwise, it's just one of those coins you probably want to avoid.
Really basic Yobit coin. Like we've mentioned, you basically would have to have mined really cheap and dump immediately for this one. Because eventually the dev is going to dump what he's got.
Yep, but then in like 2 years, Yobit, it will just randomly pump for no reason.
That's true, right?
If you're willing to hold some of these just terrible coins, it works out surprisingly often.
Sometimes we definitely wish that we owned every Yobit coin.
I guess I'm in a buying mood lately. I don't know. It's probably a bad idea considering, we're in the middle of the slide. I should probably wait to the end of it, but I've just been thinking it'd be fun to stack up some of these worthless Yobit coins in like really tiny quantities, but just across the board.
Yeah.
like as an experiment to see what percentage of them actually turn into something.
Yeah.
Because you could just put high sells up on all of them, and eventually, I don't know, man. I think a decent percentage of them will clear.
Doesn't look like it would have been the worst strategy for this year.
No, if you did it in 2015, you'd have made a shitload. That's not to say that it will continue to work that way going forward, though.
Right.
But yeah, that's iWallet coin. It's another Yobit high pre-mine coin.
Then there's ZDash.
This is a funny one from the Stuhlman. Have you seen this guy around before?
Kind of.
He's like he does like parody
Heard
coins.
the name.
Yeah, he made a coin called Goat Coin back in the day, which is funny. And it was back then every coin that came out was like a masternode clone. It was just right after Darkcoin released their masternodes. And then Crave Coin came along, and then every coin after that was a proof of stake masternode like clone coin. And so the Stuhlman made this goat coin just kind of to make fun of those coins. So it had a goat nodes or something, like herd nodes or something. And it, for some reason, got a lot of attention because people just didn't realize it was a joke, I guess. And then he abandoned it, of course, and now he's back with ZDash, which is funny.
Okay, so from the shadows, a traditional shitcoin developer throws one at us, right?
Exactly. Shitcoin developer returns from the depths. He's caught on to the fact that there's this like Zcash frenzy going on with a Zcash clone, so he's come out with ZDash. And if you look at this thread, man, people are buying it like hook, line, and sinker. It's hilarious. People are very hyped up about it. And I don't know, if it's anything like his previous coins, it's going to be like 1 week of high volume trading as the bag holders kind of load up, and then he's out. But who knows? I kind of like this. I like shitcoin developers who just do this kind of stuff out in plain sight. For some reason, it's like funnier to me that way.
Right.
Like he didn't bother to make a newbie account for it. You know, he's just posting in the same account he always uses. So that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's ZDash. Who knows? Might even trade well.
It could, couldn't it? In this market.
Compared to most of the shit that comes out lately, honestly, his a straightforward clone's not the worst thing.
Right.
No
coin.
They didn't post a source, so it's kind of not, as far as I'm concerned, if there's no source, it's probably not really even a coin.
Okay. I agree. And then there's Hidecoin.
Hidecoin.
This one is interesting because it's a third rebrand of a coin.
No, you're thinking of Hostcoin.
Oh, you're right. Tell me about Hidecoin.
Hidecoin is a cryptocurrency which is completely written in Node.js.
Oh yeah, okay. People were having just a lot of trouble with the software in this thread.
Yeah, but I'm cool with that, man. I don't know. I don't see anything that really bothers me about this coin. There's some weird things. The post is really stripped down and basic, which often can be a good sign. The algorithm is double SHA-256. I don't know what that means, but like, does
Maybe
that mean
just 2 rounds? I don't know.
Does that mean a normal SHA miner could mine it? I don't know. The fee is really high. It's 1 XHD, which is, the block reward is only 10 per block, so that's a really large fee. Like, think about like the economics of that. It's pretty funny actually, because if you're running a mining pool, you couldn't really run an NOMP type pool or a pool that pays out per block, because if you had more than 10 miners, the transaction fee would eat up the entire block's worth of rewards. So that's an unusual decision. But otherwise, I kind of like the idea that the coin's written in Node.js. It's starting to get to be a played-out feature, but just the idea of doing a ground-up rewrite of the code in a new language, for some reason, seems to carry some water as far as developing interest.
I agree with that. It looks like he's released a couple different updates already, trying to get it to work. This will be an interesting one to take another look at.
It's just very early at this point for this coin.
Yeah. but it doesn't look normal.
Yep, that is true. So yeah, there's Hidecoin. That's another proof of work. That's going to be the last proof of work coin this week. Next up, there weren't any airdrops, so we're going to look at kind of the relaunches and the hard forks and the re-announcement coins.
Yep. Starting off with Bit Tokens.
Bit Tokens, this came out a few months ago. So here's what I don't understand. The developer of Bit Tokens came out with an IPO called Omicron.
Okay.
Like a couple months after Bit Tokens launched. And the idea was that Bit Tokens was going to swap over to Omicron. But now there's another person coming out saying that there's going to be a hard fork for Bit Tokens. Is it for the people that didn't swap to Omicron, or maybe that swap got canceled or something? I don't know.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I don't know the answer to that, but I find it very interesting that there's no mention of the Omicron project anywhere in this thread.
Yeah, exactly. It's just not even mentioned. It's weird. It's also not the BitToken's original developer who posted the thread.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. But I guess somebody's trying to hard fork BitTokens. They're going to reduce, and it gets weird when you get into it too, because they're going to reduce the rewards, massively reduce the mining rewards, and increase the rate at which the block halving occurs.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes me wonder, in a coin that's like a Bitcoin fork without proof of stake, what are they going to do when the rewards run out, you know?
You're going to have to swap it to a chain with proof of stake, right?
That's usually what happens. Usually the chains can't secure themselves on just transaction fees. Like, they become too vulnerable to various hash network attacks.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah, I'd be surprised to see this really turn out well for him, I guess. But that's what's going on with Bit Tokens.
And then there was Hostcoin. That's the one I was thinking of before. And that is the rebranding of Trapcoin, which was Spliffcoin.
Now is Hostcoin.
Yes.
I did mine some Spliffcoin. I remember that one.
Right.
I think it had a pretty high pre-mine, like so many of these coins these days. And I think I mined it because I was bored, but it did turn out okay. The price spiked when he did the original swap to Trapcoin. And I'm pretty sure I got rid of all my Spliffcoin at that point. And now he's going to do the same move again and rebrand it to Hostcoin.
Right, exactly. Claiming this time that he's doing something that he's really familiar with, which is hosting. And he's going to start with, block explorers and altcoin nodes, things like that. So, an interesting rebrand.
What was Trapcoin about? I don't remember. What was he trying to sell with that one?
That one I do not know what the idea was.
So I guess Hostcoin is a better name because it's easier to remember what the coin's going to do.
Yeah, and it's got a way better name now.
So yeah, if you were a Spliffcoin or a Trapcoin holder,
I think if you have Spliffcoin, it's probably too late for you.
I don't think it was a swap.
It's just a rebrand.
Yeah, just a new name.
Okay. Yeah,
so yeah, you could probably still send your Spliffcoins to the exchange,
or just download the new wallet and put your
put your
wallet in. Nice.
So yep, there's Hostcoin,
and then there was ZAmerica.
ZAmerica.
At least they got the Z right.
They figured out the Z part. They've got a nice MS Paint logo here.
It looks a lot like the Zcash logo.
This post is hilarious. Okay, so the coin is called ZAmerica. It's a really obvious Zcash clone. But the post is it's like they took the specs for Zcash and just did a find and replace with ZAmerica. They're like advertising all of the exact same features without expecting us to know that.
Yeah. So if this one was on the Z roundup last week, it'd probably be near the bottom, is my guess. As the trend continues, getting further from Zcash, the clones are just getting less interesting.
Yeah, I agree. And this one's not even out yet, it looks like, so.
As far as ICOs go, we're just going to kind of list some names at first. Of course, we always encourage anyone that would like to tell us more about a particular ICO to contact us through blockchaindynamics.net or through our forum over at Cryptopia.
Yep. But otherwise, we're just going to kind of list off the ones that were announced this week. We had Viva.
We had BetBaseShares.
Dawn.
ProtoStake.
VSlice.
Dollar Online.
CurrenSky.
And then we got the coin creation service coin.
All right, so this coin's kind of funny for me, not because I think the coin is interesting. It looks really shitty, but I was just thinking it would be really funny if somebody made a coin creation service coin that would make coins whether people wanted them or not. Like, it's just a blockchain that was dumping altcoins onto the market essentially automatically.
Right. Yeah, we've always kind of dreamed or joked about a script that did the entire process, would just generate a few random words based on like Google Trends, and then search for that under Google Images, grab an image, throw that at the top of the post, make a Twitter and a GitHub and a blockchain or a Bitcoin Talk account. You know,
just to fully automate the process of creating one of these things. Because that's kind of the point of what these coin creator coins is, right? Like, why would you even need that packaged up into a coin? It's so strange.
Right, exactly.
Like, if you have the service to do it, then people are going to sell the service. It's very funny. So, yeah, that's just one of the many weird IPOs that's out there this week.
Yep, not a new idea at all. But then we got the card games coin, Skip.
Mm-hmm.
And then the good old, last but not least, Gerber baby coin.
Gerber baby coin. This is one of the funniest threads this week. It was a joke from this week's Shitcoin Talk episode, and then somebody made a thread like as they were talking about it, and it's a funny thread. So yeah, check it out. Just a mostly joke IPO thread. And that's going to do it for new coins this week. Looking back at the list, a lot fewer than we've seen. Maybe just because altcoins keep dumping, but
yep, I'm intrigued by that host coins rebrand.
Nice,
just a little bit. I mean,
why
I don't
not?
know.
Right?
When we get to the birthdays, we're going to be looking at a rebrand, and then another one of my favorite rebrands of all time has to be WTF coin to World Trade Funds.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
We see a lot of coins rebrand from like joke coin to serious theme.
But I'm not quite sure this is following that trend. But what else?
ZDash is going to be funny one way or the other, man.
Yeah.
And Hidecoin, really weird, but I don't know. I want to root for Hidecoin, but I'm not sure it's going to actually have what it takes.
Right. It seems like their main point is that they wrote it in Node.js.
Right.
Because they think that's interesting. But there could be some value to that. We won't know until, I noticed that they were having trouble syncing. A lot of people were. So if they get all that ironed out, then that would be the first step.
Well, it's all about the execution, and it doesn't necessarily, if it's a long-term thing, it doesn't have to be good at first. Like, you know, we talked about Vcash earlier. We obviously got in on Vcash when it was mining, and as we know, it was incredibly unstable and difficult to use when it first launched.
Yeah, it was a little confusing.
But I haven't tried to run this Hidecoin yet. I can't speak to whether it's, you know, kind of offering a unique wallet in the way that Vanilla Coin had even back then.
Right. I wonder what it would be like when you launch it.
So yeah.
And then beyond that, over into like the other section there, I don't know. I'll probably be keeping an eye on Gerber baby coin, but
you're gonna want to keep a close eye on Gerber baby coin.
About it.
It's gonna change the world, man.
We'll move over to some listings.
Listings, here we go. Mining pool listings.
We don't got anything.
Yeah, Supernova didn't add anything this week that we are aware of.
Yep. Drop us listings, of course, over at blockchaindynamics.net.
Do it. Or tweet them, because that's what we check.
Yeah, sure. If you're an exchange, then you tweet them, then we notice right away. like Cryptopia does, and they added Stratis,
Nice.
Swis coin, ZDash, Kurrent with a K, Conquest coin, iWallet coin, Boson, and those good old Siberian Chervonets.
Nice. Huge list here from
Chervonets,
Cryptopia.
I don't know.
Stratis. I sold all my Stratis last week. But it's a cool coin. I don't know. I might buy back in.
It's a nice, that's a big chunk of coins. Cryptopia always has a lot of coins and really fun place to trade.
It's true. They added that ZDash right away. That's probably the standout coin for me here. Boson. I mind that Boson, but just kind of out of impulse, not for any good reason. But yeah, so cool list here from Cryptopia. No listings from Polonix. I think Bittrex had like an IPO or something.
No, not this week.
You sure? I thought they had one.
I'm sure. Just that one that we talked about last week, that Mega Dash or whatever.
The Flash. Mega
Flash.
Mega Flash.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Let me know if you find something there.
No, I don't see anything.
But we got Yobit, of course.
Our old pals.
They're back on the scene.
Yeah, I'm feeling good about Yobit these days. I do not know why. It's probably not like based on anything reasonable or fact or anything, but for some reason I'm feeling good about Yobit shitcoins lately.
Okay. Well, they listed Unix coin, they listed LSDCoin, they listed Tomorrow coin, Game Credits, Ember coin, 365 coin, iWallet, the FreeGameZone, Boson, AcesPro, and No Limit Coin 2.
Apparently No Limit Coin 1 wasn't enough.
No way, man.
Had to go back for seconds. All right, a bunch of listings from Yobit there. C-Cex added Dollar Coin. I think that's an IPO.
Mm-hmm.
Livecoin also added Dollar Coin, so I guess it must be.
That's a little confusing. I think we the most recent one that did the same thing was there was some other coin. We've seen this recently, where a coin gets listed simultaneously on two websites, and one of them's a ICO, and we're unsure exactly what's going on.
Yeah, which counts? Do they both have the token? Who knows? But yeah, that does it for the listings this week. Nothing really from the major exchanges, and quite a lot of listings from the smaller exchanges,
which is always great. Boson and iWallet on both Yobit and Cryptopia.
Yep, both high pre-mined proof of work coins, squirming their way around.
Yep, staying busy. Yeah, nothing too stand out.
No, the game is quiet right now. So yeah, that'll wrap up the listings here. And as always, we like to close out the show taking a look at those coin birthdays.
Nice. Yeah, I love coin birthdays because time is a great measurement for coins.
Most of them don't get to the first birthday, so it's hilarious to see anything that survives longer than that.
Yep.
What do we got here this week?
On the 2-year birthdays, we're looking at Cash, which is a rebrand, as I was kind of hinting at earlier. That's a rebrand of Pimp Cash.
Pimp Cash.
Remember that? You remember?
I vaguely remember it. Pimp Cash. That is hilarious. So we were talking about coins that rebrand from like kind of joke themes into serious themes. So this coin started out as Pimp Cash,
which is probably a little too risque for mainstream adoption.
Looks like it came out
which was a big focus back then too.
Well, I remember when this one launched, it was just supposed to be really funny. It was all just like memes and stuff,
just for fun.
So it came out in November 2014. It looks like. So it started out as Pimp Cash, just like as a joke. Then they rebranded it the first time as Positive Innovation Multi-Payment Cash Solutions.
Oh, wow. I didn't know it was an acronym.
Yeah, they made it a crazy acronym. So
I had
that's
no idea.
Funny.
That is wonderful. Wow.
And then they rebranded it now to Cash. And that's all well and good, but what surprised me most checking out this coin is looking at this coin market cap chart. Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah, it looks like, I unlike a lot of altcoins, there weren't a lot of bad times to buy Vcash somehow.
Yeah, it's like
Or
the
not
most.
as many. There were some pretty bad times, it looks like, but
I don't know.
it looks like it's been relatively good to people.
It like started out in the $1,000 to $10,000 market cap range, and it's just like been steadily climbing ever since. There haven't really been any huge dumps. Usually you see like it's gonna ramp up for a little while and then it'll spike like 4x in one day or something. And the OK Cash chart is just like a steady uphill. It's weird.
Yeah, definitely looks a little different than a lot of the charts we look at.
Looks like it's just traded on Bittrex right now. Also, Blue Trade and Cryptopia.
Cool.
So yeah,
Happy
huge.
birthday. Happy 2 years over there.
Happy 2 years, OK Cash.
Can't wait for your next rebrand.
That could be the big thing, man. That could be when it finally does the NLG freaking mega spike.
Mm-hmm. And then, so that was 11/24/2014. And then a year earlier, Naulilus coin was born.
Naulilus coin.
That was on 11/24/2013.
I think Naulilus coin was like one of the original trading fund coins. They came out saying they were going to have some super expert, first coin with stabilization fund.
Yeah, and all the ways that OK Cash's chart looks different from things that we see a lot, Nautilus's coin just looks exactly like every other coin that we've seen, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to see a tale of two coins, check out the OK Cash coin market cap, and then check out the Naulilus coin market cap, because it's like Naulilus coin just has this crazy volatility. It's low. It's ridiculously low. It's freaking 20x in a few months, and then back down to where it started. 2 months later. It's crazy.
Yep, and regardless of any of that, we wish them a happy 3-year birthday because they are still around.
Yeah, they're more than around. I mean, as far as 3-year coins go, they're doing very well.
Trucking.
So yeah, happy birthday, Naulilus Cash.
I think that's going to just about do it for this week's episode.
Yep, that'll round it up here for Blockchain Dynamics number 39.
Yep, 39. And it was good talking to you, Brando.
Yep. We are, as always, brought to you by Cryptopia.co.nz. Altcoin platform. They got all kinds of really awesome features there. Check them out. Stop by our thread in the altcoin section of the Cryptopia forums. And if you leave us a comment, we will throw you some dots.
Yep, that's right. And this is the first official announcement of our first annual Wolong Awards for altcoin and blockchain excellence.
That's right. We thought it would be funny to do like a annual end of year roundup awards thing. So we came up with the Wolong Awards. We're going to have some announcements on that, I guess, coming up.
So we'll have more on that in upcoming episodes. Once again, this was Blockchain Dynamics, episode number 39.
My name is Brandon Doach.
I'm Woody.
Peace.
Bye.
Currency.
A couple bitcoins.
Money,
Pull up on my Nakamoto.